Hey guys, Ultra Maximus here, and I put together a top 12 list of movies that I thought would be really good to put into 3D, to take an old movie and transfer it to 3D. And I got the idea because I went to see Top Gun 3D last month, and Jurassic Park is about to come out on 3D for its what is it, 20th year release next month in April. It's supposed to be out. So I thought, what other films would be good to transfer to 3D? So let's take a look. The Muppets. This film was actually supposed to be in 3D, but they scrapped it during production. They were going to do a post production 3D take on it, I believe. And it's really obvious that it was supposed to be in 3D in key scenes. Like there's scenes where they get into the Muppet Theater and they're hanging from the rafters that was obviously meant to be in 3D. And I think probably the biggest scene that shows you this was supposed to be in 3D was when they go to meet Kermit and he's looking at the old paintings and they're singing the song, that really sad song, and the Muppets come out of the paintings. And that would have looked fantastic in 3D. It's a shame that the theater or the movie studio didn't push through with it. So I think this would be a good conversion to 3D. The Forbidden Kingdom. This is a great film. This is a very underrated film and forgotten film. It's a classic Japanese story. Is it Japanese? I think it's Japanese. With Jackie Chan and Jet Li about the Monkey King. It's kind of an Asian version of of Oz to me, and I think all the wire fu that's in it and special effects, I think it would look great in 3D conversion. I don't think you'd see a release at the theater. I don't think it's a popular enough film for that, but it definitely would hit Blu-ray 3D sales very well. Aliens, the sequel to Ridley Scott's Alien. This is probably one of my favorite Alien films that's ever been put out. And this just would be perfect in 3D. It's got action, it's got monsters. I think this is just a natural choice to be converted to 3D and released back to theaters. Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. Love this film. It's a classic. I think this is probably everybody's favorite, aside from Star Trek 2. I think more people like Star Trek 4. It reaches a broader audience. It's very funny. But of all the Star Trek films, I think this would look really nice in 3D. The shots with the whales, the ship coming in under San Francisco Bridge, the traveling around the sun, a lot of great scenes. The garbage can getting flattened, I think a lot of those would look really, really well in 3D. A lot of broad shots, a lot of interesting shots, and it would just be fun. Definitely fun. And would it make a good re-release at the theater? As a Star Trek nerd, I would say yes. But as a broad audience, I doubt it would bring in a lot of money. Um, but who knows? They've been releasing the Star Trek: The Next Generation episodes at the theater in high definition, so who knows? It could get a theatrical launch, but definitely Blu-ray 3D is a must for this film at some point in the future, hopefully. Raiders of the Lost Ark, recently released at IMAX for an anniversary showing. Love this film, classic, but I think it would be fun to see in 3D. I know they're going to do the Crystal Skull here relatively soon, but I think this one really asks to be in 3D. The boulder scene alone at the beginning would be phenomenal to watch roll at you in 3D. The Gremlins. Great film, really funny, nice little thriller. I think this would do well in 3D. I think this would be a nice re-release at the theater for 3D. I think all the shots with the little gremlins, the scene where they're in the pods, the scene where they're watching the film, all the shots in the bathroom at the school and in the mall. I think those would translate wonderfully to 3D. I'd really like to see this conversion. 300, Frank Miller classic. This movie, Zack Snyder did a great job with it. It's stylized. It looks brilliant on the film. The effects on it are great. The reds and the dark colors. I think it would do well in 3D. I can't see this going back to the theater in 3D, but definitely a Blu-ray 3D release. If they can do iRobot, they could definitely do this into 3D conversion. Return of the Jedi. I know that we just got Phantom Menace 3D. Uh, the Revenge of the Sith and the Attack of the Clones got put on hold for 3D release. They were going to release them this year, but they put them on hold, I think, to kind of jazz up the release of Star Wars 7. But I think this one and the future, whether this is going to get converted or not, we don't know. The future of the original trilogy in 3D conversion, not sure. But of all the Star Wars films, I think this one would be the best. The explosion of the Death Star, the forest scenes with the Ewoks, the Ewok village would look awesome in 3D. The speeder bikes, everything would translate perfect into 3D. And of course, this is a no-brainer. Put it back in the theater in 3D. Back to the Future Part 2. Great film, great trilogy of all three movies. This definitely has got the potential to get converted from 2D into 3D. All the scenes in the future with the flying DeLorean and the cars and the Jaws 3D shark scene coming out, all of that would be great in 3D. And again, this is just, to me, a natural pick to convert to 3D and release back to theaters. Jumanji. This is a must for translating into 3D. It would do great on Blu-ray 3D sales, and it'd be fun to watch back in the theater, especially when the initial bust out of everything comes out of the house and goes wild over the little town. I think you couldn't do wrong with this film in 3D. Why haven't they converted this yet? I don't get it. It's perfect for conversion. Every time I watch Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian, I'm asking myself, why is this not in 3D? It's just got it written all over the T-Rex walking around and Abraham Lincoln, the plane scene. It's just the octopus, the going in and out of the pictures. Everything about this movie screams, I need to be in 3D. And I think it would be a fun re-release at the IMAX. So if nothing else, the 3D Blu-ray sales will be off the charts. This is definitely one that needs to get converted. All right, my number one pick for 3D conversion is Moulin Rouge. Yes, I know it's a musical, it's a love story, but the visuals in this are breathtaking. It's very trippy, it's very psychedelic. It's taking modern culture and music and putting it into a blender and just hitting that button. I think with all the visuals in this film, it would be perfect for a 3D conversion. It'd be absolutely great on the theater, but I think it would do better on Blu-ray 3D sales than anything, honestly. But it just has 3D written all over it. If you haven't seen the film, watch it and you know what I'm talking about. So thanks for watching, guys, and look for more videos in the future.